Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm CJ.
And I'm Chip.
And today is Wednesday, March 19th, St. Joseph's Day. Hope everyone got their Zeppelis. We have a lot of discussion today about issues surrounding the Foxwood Casino deal that may be happening. As many of you know, tomorrow, March 20th at 6:30 p.m. in the Fall River Government Center atrium, that's that little glass room between the City Council chamber and the main building, there will be a quote-unquote public hearing regarding the casino. But we have a problem. The mayor has said there will be no debate from the floor regarding the location of the casino. It is etched in stone. They will accept questions regarding how many jobs the casino is going to bring, how long it's going to take, and those pertinent questions, but they will not take anything in regards to the city host fees, where it's located, the impact on the city. They want no debate on the issue. Boy, it sounds like a recent hearing we went to about a landfill. They must be using the same playbook. I don't know, Chip. What do you think?
Well, you're right. These meetings are actually hearings, and that's even stretching it. The fact is, what they do is they're going to tell us what they're going to do without our input. The fact is that the area that's etched in stone is the south end of the city, and I think that the reason there's going to be no debate is I think that's not the optimum place to put the casino. The reality is that's the most densely populated area in the city of Fall River, and that will cause the biggest problem with traffic and disruption of the neighborhood. So again, the Flanagan administration has made the deals before they've brought it to the public, and now he's going to sit there and tell us how it's going to be, and if it's not the way he wants it, he's going to take his ball and go home.
Boy, sounds like a spoiled brat to me. The biggest problem I have, and first thing I want to say is, I am not anti-casino, okay? I have no moral or civic justification for being against a casino, and I have no moral or civic justification to be for a casino. Chip, I mean, your position on casinos, I mean, you've made it pretty clear to people.
Yeah, I've made it pretty clear. I'm in favor of casinos because I think when you put it on the scale and weigh it with the gambling that we have in the state of Massachusetts now, the fact that people can walk down to any corner store and spend their entire paycheck on lottery tickets. We already have gambling, and the reality is that we get a disproportionately small part of those proceeds. The fact is that a gambling casino, in addition to bringing jobs and paying host fees, which will really help the economy, it also has some other things. It will have 20 restaurants where people can go. It will bring people to Fall River. We've always had a problem bringing people to Fall River. We tried the Bounty, we tried the Carousel. It's the same concept that malls had. You have an anchor store which brings people in, and then you attempt to get those people into the other satellite stores. Well, if we have a casino, they will say, well, they'll all stay in the casino. Well, it's the city's job to market itself. It's the city's job to say, hey, while you're here visiting our casino, try our Portuguese food, see our culture. Come in and look at the Lizzie Borden exhibits. Look at our historical society. Look at our rich history and textiles. The fact is that is it the panacea? No, nothing's the panacea. The fact is that the gambling industry is making less and less money because there's more and more competition. But will it bring jobs? Yes. Will it pay taxes? Yes. And those are all things we need. And in Fall River, let's face the reality. We don't have a lot of options.
No, we don't have a lot of options. But I think one of the biggest concerns that I'm having is that none of this has been public. And I'm going to start addressing things as they've come up. Yesterday, City Councilor Leo Pelletier was on the air. He made it very clear to the people listening that this is Fall River's last option, or last best option. I have a problem with that, a great problem with that. And to say that the people of Fall River can only do some of the menial jobs because that's what they can handle or that's what they're smart enough for is, very disturbing. Because one of the things we have to know about the jobs that they're talking about, because everyone's talking about 3,000 to 5,000 jobs, 3,000 to 5,000 jobs. A lot of those jobs are skilled jobs. And I don't mean skilled as though you have to be an electronics engineer, but they're skilled jobs in the sense of blackjack dealing, poker, roulette, and those are people that are trained for those jobs, which a lot of our people in Fall River don't have. The other problem is that the security background check that is given to a casino employee is so strict that there's a good proportion of Fall River residents who need work right now that can probably not get hired because of it. Because, they go far as looking into your driving record, your credit history, and they make it very clear that if you're not perfect in every area, they bypass you. So what's going to happen is Foxwood, which currently has over 1,500 employees on layoff, are going to import those employees to Fall River. Because those are 1,500 trained employees already that they're paying unemployment on. So they might as well give them jobs in Fall River if they open this casino. So that's one big problem that I have is that, we have our own member of the city council saying this is the last best effort we have, but they're not willing to, say this is how we're going to make it happen. They're just willing to say this is what's going to happen and you don't have a choice. So, I'm a little pulled on that, to say the least. It makes it very difficult. The other thing I have a problem with is the fact that recently on Facebook, and I don't belong to the Grew Up in Fall River page. I think it's nothing but a bunch of drama. But a posting became apparent a few days ago about notices from the bank, specifically the Bank of America, in regards to protecting their assets. It's called loss mitigation. And people are actually going saying this is a lie, the letter's a lie, this, that, and the other thing. So I had to do a little bit of research. And I went to a local Bank of America branch and I spoke with our Attorney General's office. I spoke with an attorney. And every bank, not just Bank of America, although they're probably the worst bank to have a mortgage with, but every bank in the country has the right to mitigate its losses, okay? And in your mortgage contract, there are phrases in there that allow them to sell your mortgage, to look at your mortgage and see if it's a high loss probability, and to look at your credit rating and how your payment history has been. Is the Bank of America or any other bank going to foreclose on every single property in the city because they lost 10 or 20 or 30% or 40% or whatever the house value may have declined? No, but it's going to give them a reason to actually go after somebody who's maybe been 2 or 3 payments behind and they caught up, and 2 or 3 payments behind and they've caught up again. Gives them a reason to go after that particular person or a group of people and say, we need to protect our assets here. We're going to foreclose on these. They're not going to foreclose on everyone because that makes no sense. They'll be a real estate broker that way. But they do want to protect their assets. So if you've received one of those letters, I don't want to hear it. Maybe people on Facebook want to see it and read it, but I've seen one. I can tell you that they've been delivered by FedEx and that, they are actual letters. They're actually 2 pages. And the second page has all that disclaimer that the Bank of America is a debt collector, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, talk to your banker. If you're with, St. Anne's Credit Union or Fall River Municipal Credit Union or Bank 5 or whoever you may be with, talk to them if you have a mortgage with them and ask them, do you have a loss mitigation clause in your contract, in your mortgage? And if so, what can you expect? Okay? They have 90 days, from what I understand, to give you notification that they're doing that they're going to do a loss mitigation. And that 90 days is based upon the date of the approval of the questionable process that they're going into, whether it be the casino or another job or something that may result in loss of property values, including a receivership by the city. They have to notify you within 90 days. So, you don't know what's going to happen. What do you think about this, Chip? This is very scary to some people.
Yeah, it is. And the fact is that they do have a right, but also I think the I think the window is between 10 and 30% of property reduction in value. But who knows? That's not carved in stone either. Who knows? Florida may be unique. Our property values may go up.
They might. Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, the fact is that that's something that we have to look at. But you also have to look at it from the fact that if you're paying your mortgage and you're they're going to foreclose on your house and then not have money coming in. There are going to be a lot of factors, and I think this is just something that people are using. What really scares me most is the fact of how this process is done. As you said, CJ, everything has been done without public input, behind closed doors. If we look at New Bedford, we look down the road to New Bedford. For a while there, the mayor wasn't in favor of casino gambling. And apparently he's listened to other people, and now I saw the New Bedford Standard Times. They're looking for an extension on the license because they've convinced him that it may be something to look at. And unlike Leo Pelletier, this is not the panacea, but it's also not our only chance. This may be a good first step. We have to develop the city. But the fact is, casino gambling has not been the answer in many places, not because casino gambling doesn't bring revenue in. It's because governments spend the money improperly. They talk about Atlantic City, but there was a study done in Atlantic City that said only 3% of all the revenue ever gotten from Atlantic City was spent on the city itself. They spend it on the state, they spend it on other things, and we've seen this in every area. We've seen it with our tax dollars. They raise the taxes on something and say they need it to pay this. Then you give them that money, and then they seem to need more money, and they misappropriate money. This is why the host fee and the way the contract with this casino is drafted is so important. And the fact is, our mayor has gone on record saying that our law department is going... Yeah, forgive me. CJ, it's hard not to laugh. But our law department is quite capable of drafting a host fee. Well, they may be capable of drafting a host fee, but it may be in favor of everybody else but the citizens of Fall River. And I would also like to know, since the south end is carved in stone, as I said before, why, in probably the worst place in the city to put it, why is it there? I would like to see the names of all the property owners because it seems a little coincidental that I know a lot of people who are politically connected who own property in the South End. I'd like to see if they're benefiting from these sales. So, and the other bottom line here is everybody is beginning to get, really, really up in a frenzy and up in arms. We haven't even voted on this issue yet. New Bedford's there. We also have an issue from the federal government. I believe the president has now said something about the Indians, which would mean if what he said is a fact, that means that the tribe in Taunton will get land in trust. And if that is true, this is dead in the water.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was going to speak about that next. The Gaming Commission of Massachusetts has already ruled that there will only be one casino in the South Coast. And their preference is to grant a tribal casino to the South Coast, Region C, which we are. A tribal casino can only be done by the Taunton plan. Now, President Obama made it very clear to the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the Bureau of Indian Education that they must act in an expedient manner to maintain tribal autonomy and tribal culture. And he said that if you've recognized tribal treaties between tribes, between sovereign nations, to quote him, prior to 1934, then the Bureau of Indian Affairs has indeed recognized the tribes prior to 1984 who had treaties, 34 who had treaties. Well, the tribe out of Taunton does have tribal treaties recognized by the Bureau of Indian Affairs prior to 1934. Now, based upon this presidential statement and executive order, I believe, that means that the Bureau of Indian Affairs must accept the tribal land in trust. And as a matter of fact, they said it must be done this year in 2014, which basically means that the extensions asked for by New Bedford may indeed be granted. And if so, it gives the Gaming Commission the opportunity to say to, I guess, who is that, the Wampanoags that have that?
Yeah, I believe
the
it.
Wampanoags, get your act together and get the Bureau of Indian Affairs to act on this, because time is of the essence. And I believe that if the Bureau of Indian Affairs knows time is of the essence and they're pushing this, they don't want to be accused of having a detrimental effect on a tribal nation. Because right now, the President of the United States wants to build up these tribal nations, wants to build their sovereignty, and want to give them the opportunity to manage their nations effectively. That's a scary thought for Fall River, because guess what, Mr. Mayor? If that goes through and they get their land, you're going to be in a canoe without a paddle. It's that simple. So, you know, when every time this comes up, you put all your eggs in one basket, and for some reason, when you look in the basket, they're all gone. And you follow your path, and they're all cracked all the way down the line. And that's a scary thought, a very scary thought. And we have to ask ourselves, you know, really, what do we want? Do we want the casino? A lot of people do. A lot of people don't. But what we do want on both sides is absolute transparency. We want to hear your side at a public hearing, pro or con. If you want the casino, you want to be heard. If you don't want the casino, you want to be heard. And you should have that opportunity. But again, we're using the playbook of nobody can talk, only we can, and if you don't like it, I'm going to take my ball and leave. Well, the spoiled brat mentality doesn't work for me, and I know it's definitely not going to work for Fall River. The money this will bring into the city is immense. It will help out the budget a great deal. But in reality, it's only going to be about 10% or less of the city's annual budget. But that can make a big difference. The question is, how's it going to happen? And to say that our law department can handle drafting this host agreement really scares me, because every other job they have, they farm out to somebody else. They get paid $120,000 a year, one lawyer there, corporate counsel, $120,000 a year, and she does nothing. She farms everything out. And they issue opinions which actually violate the law. D'Orio, same thing. She got a $10,000 raise. She's making $80,000 a year, and she issues opinions which, again, are questionable in the law. So we have to say, would we want that lawyer to handle our finances? I don't think so. And I think the city council has it right, because the city council wants to hire an outside attorney to draft the host agreement, and I think that should happen. I mean, it's just good business, and that's what we're talking here, good business. How do you feel about that?
Well, absolutely, CJ. And also, you know, as taxpayers, as citizens of the community, we have a right to know. We have been misled again and again. You know, as CJ said, you know, the fact is the mayor is standing up here like this is a done deal. This could be a diversionary tactic to bury some of the other stuff in the trash, like the hazardous materials. But the fact is, we have a right to know. We have a right to know why he picked the South End. You know, I would like, as a citizen, to know why you took the most populated area in the city to build a casino. Why didn't you get it in some other area where it would have the least impact on the community? That's one question. You know, the reality is there will be casino gambling in southeastern Massachusetts. The question that we have before us is that, do we want it in Fall River? If it's going to be a fact down here, do we want the benefits of the casino, and do they outweigh the negatives? The fact is that, you know, if they build a casino in Taunton, somebody who's a gambling addict will drive to Taunton to go to the casino. They don't have to. They can go down to the corner store and they can buy these. They can take their whole paycheck and spend it on scratch tickets. So the fact that gambling addicts are going to, you know, waste all their money because we have a casino is kind of a pretty weak argument as far as I'm concerned, because they can do it right now. But we have a right to know. We have a right to know every single step. We have a right to know the reality of what our chances are to get this. We are competing against New Bedford, against Taunton. You know, The citizens of this city have a right to know, and the fact is, we have been kept in the dark about virtually everything. For going back to the beginning of his second term when he surprised every district chief on the Fall River Fire Department by promoting a lieutenant, and they all walked out of the building when it happened. You know, Mayor Flanagan has never, ever done anything with any transparency, even though when he ran for office, he said he was going to have transparent government. And the fact is, this, of all issues, should be aired in public. And as CJ said, people who are against the casino, people who are for the casino have a right to say what they have to say to our city leaders, and our city leaders have to answer the questions to all the people on both sides.
Yeah, but when you get a message from the city leaders saying, you know, there will be no debate, you have to wonder, what are you hiding? And again, you made a good point. Is this whole deal in an effort to cover the failures of the landfill question and the SAFER grant question? The mayor is still planning to lay off 60 firefighters. And I have gone in research to find the questionable variances or waivers that they got to the SAFER grant. And I've actually sent off emails to a Mr. Dunham at FEMA who handles the SAFER grants and the Freedom of Information. And we're going to get those waivers one way or the other, because we just can't not have that information. Firemen have called and asked for it. The president of the Firefighters Union has said that the city got a waiver to waive the requirements of keeping the firefighters who were hired by the SAFER grant on for the 3-year period. I do know they got a waiver for the ability to decrease the number below 200, but I didn't know about the 3-year waiver. So I want to see that in writing. So I've requested that. I asked Senator Warren, I asked Markey, I've asked Kennedy. I have gone around. All of them have said the same thing. That all happened before we were here. We don't have it. And for the congressional delegation and the senators to say, we don't have that information, it's got to be somewhere. It has to be somewhere. And we want to see it. We want it to be factual. Do I question the administration on maybe lying to us? I'm not saying the administration is lying to us, but we've been known that they kind of hide things. So, because if it remains hidden, you don't see it. We live in a community right now where the people don't trust the government, and the government continues to hide things from the people. This isn't the way government was supposed to be. And I know that our country's founders are turning over in their graves saying, what are you people in Fall River doing? And that's a scary thought. I mean, Chip, you're pretty much on the ball with a lot of this, especially with what this country was founded on. So I have to say, what's going on?
Well, you know, I think it's my turn for the commentary, and
that's why I'm saying, what's going on?
and that's exactly what my commentary is going to be on, the right of the public to hear. You know, I've said it numerous times. Our own Constitution in the state of Massachusetts says that they are accountable to the people at all times, and they are at all times our agents. They do not run government, we do. Our Declaration of Independence says it. You know, the fact is, this is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And in Fall River, this seems to be a government. It's not a democracy. We have a plutocracy, which is a government of the wealthy. It seems as though we're never informed. And as CJ says, I want to see the waiver. You know, I always was told if you had a winning hand, you show it. So if they had that waiver, why wasn't that waiver presented to the city council? Why wasn't the waiver shown? These are all questions that I have. When you tell me something, you know, there's an old, you know, there's an old adage about, you know, if you're gonna urinate out of my head, at least extend me the courtesy of not trying to convince me it's raining. And the fact is that if you don't show me something and you want me to believe it, I'm not really inclined to believe this administration. The fact is there have been too many times where the public has been misled. on the SAFER grant, on the illegal dumping. We still haven't got the story on that. And when it comes to the casino, again, this seems to be the old MO for our mayor. He says, this is it, this is the way it is, don't worry about it, we've got everything covered. The spaghetti ramps are going to cure the city of Fall River, the casino's going to cure all our problems, we have no problems, and we're not going to look in the rear view mirror, we're going to look forward and we forget about all our mistakes. But the fact is, it's time to show your hand, Mayor. Do we have a blackjack? Or do we have a bust? I want to know, and so do the people of Fall River. You know, I don't know if we're going to throw a 7. We got all the props today. I don't know if we're going to throw a 7 or we're going to throw a craps number. But I want to know, and I think everybody, pro and con casino, because this transcends the casino issue. This speaks to an overall pattern of behind-the-scenes government, a shadow government, a government that is not answerable to the people, that is answerable to the few, the movers and the shakers. And that, in my opinion, is the reason that Fall River has not progressed in the last 20 years. And over this administration's beginning of 3 terms, it has gotten even worse. This is a government that has no ability to answer the people. All it is smoke and mirrors, and we need more. We've got to take back government. It's time to take back our government, and this may be the issue to get people involved.
Well, you know, people are already saying that they're tired of it. Regardless of the casino, the people in Fall River are just tired of the shenanigans that have been going on. And if you're from South Park, I declare shenanigans on the mayor of Fall River and the administration. You know, we have to really look at what we're doing. And it's that time that we know that now it's coming down to the, you know, pedal to the metal here, and we need to know what's happening. And with that, we have to close our show. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate your time, and let us know your comments or concerns. We're here to listen to you. Thank you for watching Straight Talk.
Join us at the Government Center tomorrow for the hearing.